Assalamu alaikum students, welcome to my channel. Today I would be discussing some basics of tooth morphology. Table of content. I would explain what is dental anatomy and phases of dentition, then primary and permanent dentition with their dental formula. And at the end I will discuss tooth numbering system, and at very last we will do a short activity for better understanding about tooth numbering system. So, what is dental anatomy? Dental anatomy is basically the study of development of tooth, that how the tooth development begin and all process it goes through. Morphology of tooth, that how it looks like, what are its forms, shapes and sizes, and its relation with other teeth in the same or in opposing arch. We have divided the dental arch into 4 quadrants and mainly into 2 arch, that is the maxillary arch and the mandibular arch. As you can see in this picture, we have divided the arch into maxillary and mandibular arch, and if we bisect the arch through the mid-sagittal section, it will divide it into right and left apparently equal halves, and a horizontal line bisecting it into upper and lower half parts. We have some phases of dentition. Basically the 3 main phases are: primary dentition phase begins at 6 months of age and continues up to 3 years of age, and complete primary dentition is achieved, that is 20 teeth at 3 years of age, and it will remain intact up to the age of 6 years. Then we have the second phase, that is the transition or mixed dentition phase. It begins at 6 years of age and ends at 12 years of age, when all the deciduous, which is also called as the primary teeth, sheds off. Then here comes up a third phase, that is permanent dentition phase. In this phase we will have a complete permanent dentition up to the age of 14 to 15 years, except the third molar tooth, which will erupt from 18 to 25 years of age. In transition from primary to permanent dentition teeth, there are 3 main indications. Number 1 is emergence of first permanent molar. Number 2 is shedding of deciduous incisors, and third one is the emergence of permanent incisors. In primary dentition we have total 20 number of teeth in a dental arch, 10 in the maxilla and 10 in the mandibular arch, and 5 tooth in each quadrant. Dental formula of one side is 4 incisors, that is 2 upper and 2 lower, 2 canines, that is 1 upper and 1 lower, and 4 molars, that is 2 upper and 2 lower. One side we have total 10 tooth, multiply it by 2 to get the total number of both sides, that is 20 tooth. Anterior teeth are basically incisors plus canines, that is canine to canine. Molars are denoted as posterior teeth. In permanent dentition we have total 32 number of teeth in a dental arch, 16 in the maxillary arch and 16 in the mandibular arch, and 8 tooth in each quadrant. And its dental formula of one side would be 4 incisors, that is 2 upper and 2 lower, 2 canines, 1 upper and 1 lower. And in permanent dentition we have premolars, 2 upper and 2 lower, and we have 6 molars, 3 upper molars and 3 lower molars. On one side we have total 16 tooth, multiply it by 2 to get the total number of 32 teeth. And same, anterior teeth are basically incisors and canines in permanent dentition, and posterior teeth will include premolars and molars. As you can see in this picture is showing the deciduous dentition as well as the permanent dentition, and we have just divided it by mid-sagittal section into right and left equal halves, and a horizontal line is bisecting it and dividing it into upper and lower arch. Same in the permanent dentition. So in primary dentition, the tooth which is just adjacent to the mid-sagittal line is central incisor, then the tooth lateral to it would be lateral incisor, then the third tooth would be canine, then we have first molar, then we have second molar. In permanent dentition, the tooth just adjacent to the mid-sagittal line would be central incisor. Then the lateral to it will be lateral incisor. Then we have canine. Then we have first premolar. Then second premolar. Then first, second, and third molars. Tooth numbering system is used by dentists to associate information to a specific tooth. In clinical practice, some shorthand systems of tooth notification is necessary for recording the data. ये efficiently करने के लिए ज़रूरी है कि हम कोई system adopt करें. So we have several systems in this world, but 3 systems are mainly used. That is Universal Notation System, Palmer Notation System, and FDI system, that is the Federation Dentire International. So in universal system we use uppercase letters. In primary dentition, as you can see in this picture, here we have mid-sagittal plane, right and left side. From right we have started it from the maxillary molar, that is the second molar, A. Then we have B, that is denoting maxillary first molar. Then C is denoting the canine, D is denoting the lateral incisor, and E is denoting the central incisor. So we'll start from the right side and keep on moving towards the left side of the maxilla from A to J. Then we would shift to the mandible from J to K, and then so on, L, M, N up to T. It would be in clockwise direction, right? You would start from the right side of the maxilla, that is the second molar in primary dentition, and move towards the second molar of the left side in the maxilla. Then shift to the mandible, that is the second molar of the mandible, and move towards the right side of the second molar of the mandible. Same is the case with the permanent dentition, but in permanent dentition we would be using numerical values instead of alphabets, right? We will start it from the right side of the maxilla, that is the third molar in permanent dentition. That is 1 is indicating the third molar, 2 is indicating the second, 3 is indicating the first, then 4 is indicating the second premolar, 5 is indicating the first premolar, 6 will indicate canine, 7 indicate lateral incisor, and 8 indicate central incisor, and so on. It would keep on moving towards the left side of the maxilla. Then you will shift towards the mandible, left side. From left to right you will move like 17, 18, 19, 20, and then so on. It would also be in clockwise direction, right of the maxilla to the left of the maxilla, and then from left of the mandible to the right of the mandible. In Palmer notation system, we use symbolic representation. In this system we use usually quadrants to denote the location. Either it is the first, second, or third quadrant, or either it is upper or lower quadrant tooth, right? Let me draw it. For example, if I want to denote the upper right quadrant, so I will denote it like this. If I want to denote it like upper left quadrant, so I would be denoting it like this. And if you have to denote lower right, so you will be doing it like this. So if I want to denote the central incisor of upper quadrant, right quadrant, I would be denoting it like this. Okay, if I want to denote the canine, that is the third tooth of upper quadrant of left side, so I would be denoting it like this. If I want to denote the second molar, that is of lower quadrant, right side, so I would be denoting it like this. So this quadrant would be basically denoting that from where the tooth belongs, right? This is for upper right, this is for upper left, this is for lower right, and this is for lower left. Okay, so in this way we would be denoting the tooth in Palmer notation, and we will start it from the center. As in universal system, we were starting it from the right side of the maxilla and taking it to the left side of the maxilla, and then from the mandible left side bringing it to the right side of the mandible. But in Palmer notation system, we would be starting from the center mid sagittal line, that is from the central incisor, and taking it to the molars, that is the second molar in primary. And if we talk about the permanent dentition, so it would be third molar would be the last one, and central incisor would be starting from A, then B, C, D, E, and so on. In FDI system, basically it is two-digit number system, right? First digit is indicating the quadrant and second digit is indicating the tooth number. As you can see in this type of dentition, here we have permanent dentition. So here come first quadrant, here we have second quadrant, here we have third quadrant, here we have fourth quadrant. We would be going in clockwise direction, okay, like this. First, second, third, and then fourth. So first letter would be indicating the quadrant number, and then the second would be indicating the tooth number. For example, if I want to indicate lower right central incisor, so I would just count it from 1, 2, 3, and 4. Lower right would be 4. Okay, and I have to indicate the central incisor, so central incisor would be 1. Okay, in the same way, if I want to indicate any tooth from the upper arch, like from the left side second molar, so it would be 2, 7, cause right side is 1, left side would be 2 in the maxilla. And then if we talk about the mandible, so left would be indicating the third quadrant and right would be indicating the fourth quadrant. In this way, the first digit would be indicating the quadrant number and the second digit would be indicating the tooth number. And some students makes mistake and calls it like 21, 22. It's not 21, it's 21. It's not 22, it's 22, 23, 24. Okay, don't call it like 25, 26, 27, 28. It's not 27, it's 27. It's not 28, it's 28. Okay, here we have primary dentition. In primary dentition, we have just number it differently. The upper right would be indicated by 5, the upper left would be indicated by 6, and the lower left would be with 7, and then the lower right would be indicated by 8. So if we would be talking about the upper right quadrant, we would put 5, and if we would be talking about the canine, then it would be 3. You give first one would be central incisor, 2 would be lateral, and then the 3 will be canine, 4 would be first molar, and 5 will be molar. So in this way we would be numbering the tooth in primary dentition by FDI system. In tooth numbering system, in Palmer notation, it's very difficult to communicate because we are using the symbols. So it would be really difficult to communicate that which tooth is to be extracted or maybe removed or whatever the scene is. So in universal system, it is very tough to remember the tooth number, that which tooth is 26 number, so 26. So in FDI system, it's very easy. Like if someone is saying like you have to extract 26, so you would be just counting it from the right side of the maxilla, that right of the maxilla would be 1, then left of the maxilla would be 2. So 2, 6, so 2 would be the left side of the maxilla, and 6 if you start counting it from the central incisor, that is the 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 would be the first molar. So it would be easy in FDI system to denote the tooth in general communications or maybe in the written works, in the reports, etc. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my video, then do subscribe my channel and give it a big thumbs up. And if you found this video worthful, then share it with your friends as well. Thank you so much for watching.